of God.
Good morning. Welcome to worship this morning. If everybody could stand and join us as we sing together.
Well, hey, y'all. Good morning.
Welcome to Midland. You all made it on time. Deal is, if anybody comes in late, we act like we're just getting started. All right, each time someone walks in late, we just start all over again. It's going to be great this morning, all right? And then once we get done, we're going to point and we're going to laugh. It's going to be a very Jesus thing to do, okay? It's going to be great. So glad y'all made it on time this morning. I hope you're doing all right with one less hour of sleep. It's pretty cool because we get to stay up later now because it'll stay light later, and that's great. You came in this morning, hopefully you got the bulletin in your hand. You'll see a QR code on there this morning to scan and check in. Let us know you're here. It's one of the ways we stay connected here at Midland. If you're a guest with us, we encourage you to do it the first time. Share any information you're comfortable sharing with us because we love to connect with you and your family as well. You'll also see a QR code on there that is for Easter lilies. So if you'd like to have an Easter lily given in honor or in memory of someone in your life on Easter Sunday, you can fill that out. And get it all taken care of right there. They will be the beauty that comes into this space for us on Easter Sunday. Pretty cool thing. You'll take them with you after that Easter service, or you can come back and get them over that next week as well if you're not going to be here. That kind of gives you an idea of some stuff that's happening. We also have on Holy Week, we have Holy Thursday. Thursday is the time that's often called Maundy Thursday. It's when we remember Jesus' Last Supper with his closest friends in the upper room that evening, and so we come together for dinner around the table and a special time of worship. So that's going to be on April the 2nd. It's at 6 o'clock right here in this space for that night. Now, two things are happening this Saturday. The first is that we have the market. This is the Spring Fling Market, and so if you're a vendor, I hope it goes very well for you. If you're not a vendor, this is a great time to come get your shop on. It's from 9 to 2 on Saturday for the Spring Fling. Over 100 vendors here. And if you are a real man, we need your help. All right, we need your help. We got to get this all set up and everything. And so if you are available, they're going to get started at 6:45 in the morning for some setup. And then just kind of keeping things in order through the day. So if you're available at some point between 6:45 and 2 o'clock, we can really use just your help to make sure it goes nice and smooth with traffic and vendors and all that kind of stuff on Sunday. I think that's got that part. And then that evening is the daddy-daughter dance. So here it is. Back to the 80s. It's going to be a lot of fun. Dressing up and looking good from the 80s, getting some dance on, having a good time right here in this space. You can register by scanning that QR code that's on the screen. You can also just check online. There's a nice link for you with our websites from 5:30 to 7:30 this coming Saturday. $30 covers the whole family, all the kids that are coming in. I think that's it. Any questions, any thoughts, anything I've missed? All right, turn. Give somebody a high five this morning. Tell them good morning as we keep on rolling.
my surrender. This is my surrender. Here is where I lay it down. Every lie and every doubt. This is my surrender. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. Shake up the ground of all my tradition. Break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better. Oh, your way is better. Shake up the ground of all my tradition. Break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better. Oh, your way is better. Shake up the ground of all my tradition. Break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better. Your way is better. Shake up the ground of all my tradition. Break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better. Your way is better. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to.
I'm going to invite y'all to have a seat this morning. I'm going to say a prayer for us, and this is kind of a chance for you to maybe just be quiet, be calm, be still for a moment. It may be that time that gives you the excuse to pray, because prayer is like one of the easiest, absolutely easiest parts of our faith, because you can do it anytime, any place, and there's no requirement on how you got to do it. And yet it's also the easiest thing to forget. So this morning we take a chance to join together in prayer. Then we'll have the offering plates passed around. Remember, drop your connection cards in if you filled them out there this morning. But take this time to kind of open up your hands and maybe let some stuff go. Take this time to put some stuff before God that you have been trying to work out on your own. God, we come to you this morning. And God, we come to you on a Sunday that's set aside right here at this time on purpose. God, to come together, to be together. God, to worship together. Get some coffee and some donuts together. Pretty cool, God, that it's all together. And God, it's not just us, but it's a time together that reminds us that you are always with us. And so this morning, God, as we come to this place, we bring our stuff that you're so aware of. And we talk to you about our stuff, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And God, in our moments when we are finally getting it right, we're laying it before you. So God, here it is, what we got. And we're opening up our hands and we're laying it before you this morning. God, we're praying for healing where healing is needed. God, we're praying for rest where rest is needed. God, we're praying for that hope to be restored where hope is needed. God, we're praying for eyes that we can see more clearly exactly who you are as the one who creates and redeems and sustains. And God, we pray for ears that hear better and better. And God, for a willingness to listen and to respond. God, we ask you to take our time together here this morning. God, all the stuff that we bring to you in prayer, God, in some way be shaped in such a way that it's for your glory. And God, it gives us the very thing we need to press on to see what it is you have for your creation and why in the world you chose to use us, to work through us, and to speak through us to do good. God, may all that we do be for your glory, and in your name we pray this morning. Amen.
Excited that the sun is going to stay up later. Have a seat, friend. Nope. Nope. Come here. Come here. Come help me. Come help me, Dale. Come help me. Hi. Sometimes we just got to hold on to our friends, huh? So, Dale, did you get extra sleep this morning?
What?
Did you get extra sleep this morning?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I got a new alarm clock.
Oh, that is...
Yeah, and it changed rainbow.
It changes rainbow? Is that to tell you to stay in bed?
Yeah. Well, I know the time to wake up, and I waked up past that, and I slept in.
Yeah. How many of y'all missed the
And
extra
that's
hours?
a new record for him.
Yeah. Did y'all have some extra sleep this morning, or did y'all pump up early with the sun?
I slept until 8:40.
8:40?
He slept until
Oh, yeah. Have a seat, bud. So here's the thing. We get to have extra sunshine, and we're going to enjoy that, but all of you are going to let your moms and dads have a nap today, right?
No.
Sorry, moms and dads, we tried. All right, have a seat for me. So can you remind me who we talked about last week?
I don't know.
We hung out with who?
A lion?
A lion. Cohen, what was that lion's name? Cohen, you don't remember.
I know.
What's the lion's name?
Lion?
Zion the lion. And
That kind of rhymes.
it does kind of rhyme. And then we also learned about King David and a promise, right? Did you know that King David had a son? I feel like y'all don't know that. We had to have a conversation with our 9 a.m. kids. They thought Solomon and Saul were the same person. It's very unfortunate. They were like, they're enemies. I was like, well, they're not. Hey, but we're going to go read a story about if you could ask for anything in the whole wide world. Dale, if you could ask for anything in the whole wide world, what would you ask for?
A lion.
A lion. Who else has got an answer? What would you ask for?
Probably my lizard that died yesterday.
A dead lizard. I love this.
No, I wanted to come back.
A house? Okay.
I want
A pet frog. A pet cat. Y'all are in trouble.
a
A-
pet cheetah.
A pet lion. William. An upgraded toilet. I'm not asking.
A pet cheetah.
A pet cheetah. Well, Solomon said that he wanted to be a really good king, and he prayed to be wise and make good choices. Now, how many of y'all would ask God to help you make good choices? How many of you feel like you need God to help you make some good choices? Yeah? All right. That is a good choice. That is a good choice. Well, we're going to say a prayer, and we're going to go find out what led to all that, okay? All right, hands together. Dale, come here, bud. I need your help. I'm waiting on you. All right, hands together. Hands together. Dear God.
Dear God,
Thank you.
thank you
For helping me
for helping me
to make
make
wise choices.
choices.
Amen.
So, if you grabbed one last week, sorry, that was not planned. If you grabbed one last week, we realized we accidentally printed it in black and white, not on purpose, even though we wanted to try some of you to see if you can read invisible writings. But part of it gets a little hard to see. Can you bring me back down again back there? Well, just don't yell at everybody, Zachary. Just hit the right button and just bring it down. Yeah, just the right one and bring it down. But when you came in and you got, maybe picked it up, we do have some that are not black and white, they're color again. So you can see the amazing green that reminds us of mountains in there. Because around here, mountains have trees on them, don't they? Yeah, that's right. And they're starting to turn green again, actually, if you haven't been out there. All right, so go with me to 2017. How many of y'all remember the year 2017? All right, 2017, pretty cool year. I finished my last year of school. All right, so I got to be a doctor like everybody else in my family. Just not nearly as useful as they are, unfortunately, still. But I finished that all up, and then we found out that Molly was on the way, and we found that out the night of our last night of foster care classes to be a foster care family and changed plans for us. But finishing school, again, because if you go back, I finished seminary in 2008. And in that year, this guy, it's another story for another day, but I'll just give you a heads up. That year, this guy who was in the ROTC program at CSU said, hey, anybody want to go for a run? I got to do some training, get myself in shape. I got such and such test coming up. I was like, cool, man, I'll go run with you. You know, that'll be good. I haven't run in a while. And so we're going to meet at Lake Bottom. I was at St. Paul at the time, so that's right there at Lake Bottom. And so I just stay at work, change clothes at the church, and go down to meet him, and he never shows up. And that began, I still ran, and my heartbeat was very fast, faster than my run was, and I thought I might die before I made the loop kind of thing, you know. But I made that run, and I decided to stick with it. And I kept going back and running. And so, shut your mouth. You hear that? Like a bad remix. One of them was making a noise back there, so if you see it pop up, you can, I don't know what it is. It's power stuff. Speaker, yes. Speaker, amp, mess, something or another back there. Y'all hear that? What in the world? I'm completely distracted. What were we talking about again? We were talking about running. And so I go, he doesn't show up. I keep doing it. And I decide what I'm going to do is I'm going to train for a triathlon. I'd heard about these things. I thought it'd be cool. Well, that was in 2008. Zoe was born in 2009, and I did nothing else after that. And so here it is now. I'd finished school. I had extra time in 2008. I finished school again in 2017. I feel like I have extra time because if y'all know anything about fitting stuff into your schedule, right? And then when you're like, I don't have to do that anymore? I don't have to do that anymore? And you're like, oh, I got a little bit more time. Now, something will fill it, but I decided I'd do a triathlon. And I do some things I had not done, but I'd always wanted to do. And so 2017, I decided I'm going to do my first 10K run. It's going to be up at Callaway because they do the Fantasy and Lights, and that is amazing, and you should go do it sometime. Go run through the lights. That was the first 10K I was going to do, and that was beginning of December. And then the end of January, there's going to be a half marathon up at Callaway as well, and I was going to do it. And then in April, there was a 70.3 triathlon also at Callaway, and so I would be hanging out in the mountains. You get it? You get it? It's like mountains, and I was going to be in the mountains. And so I've got it laid out, and I stick to it this time, and I do what I have to do to get ready, I feel like, for each one. And so I do the 10K, and I found a picture online of me before the 10K. I am not picking my nose. I am just keeping my hands warm, all right? But you see me right there? That's me before the 10K. I'm not nervous. Yes, I am, because I haven't done a 10K yet. And it's cold, by the way. It's getting cold that evening in December. But I'm about to do my first 10K. I was pretty pumped. And then in January, I told you about that half marathon I was going to run. Check it out. This is me at the end. That's exactly how I felt, all right? That speaks exactly like, oh my gosh, where's the finish line, right? And then I have this triathlon to do. And how many of y'all know about training for a triathlon? A triathlon, when it's 70.3, it's called a half Ironman is where that kind of comes in there. It's 70.3 miles long. You swim 1.2, you bike 56, and then you run a half marathon, which I was like, okay, I've got the half marathon down now. All I got to do now is swim a little bit and do a little bike ride, and then I just go run it. It's going to be fine. And so I can remember on that day in April, I get there, and it is in the 40s that morning. That is cold, by the way, when you're getting ready to jump in the lake to go swim. But I'm pumped, and I'm all signed up, and it's a lot you go through to make sure you set up like the transition station right, because if you forget your bike, that's a real big mess. And if you forget the shoes to wear when you ride your bike, that's a big mess. If you don't have running shoes, that's a big mess. All that. So I've got it laid out, and it's about to get started, and I've gone down to Robin Lake. Hey, y'all been to Callaway? Y'all know kind of what Callaway looks like? There's a big lake in like the little rec area. It's called Robin Lake. And I'm down there on the shore at Robin Lake getting ready for this thing to get started. And then I realized I'd forgotten something, because it's your first time, you forget stuff. And there's like this anti-chafing stuff that you usually will put on. And I found when I was training with the wetsuit, I need it, because that stuff would rub me raw here and kind of down here. And so I put that on. It works out much better. And I'd forgotten it. It's in the car. Now, I have the same Expedition that y'all may see out in the parking lot over there, and it has one of those cool codes you type in to unlock it. And the night before, I had learned the code, because I knew I would have to put like my keys, my wallet, my cell phone in there, because those are really bad things to swim with. And so I learned the code to get back into the car, and I run in a wetsuit, which looks very cool to see people running through parking lots in a wetsuit, back to the Expedition, and I start putting in the code, and it's not the right code. Because I am freaking out at this point, because I know this race is about to begin. I don't want to get all chafed up, because I'm going to be miserable on the bike ride and the run, and probably for a few days. And I'm just checking codes, and nothing's working. And about that time, I hear noise, and I look over, and I'm not the only one that forgot. There's this dude at his car, and he's got his anti-chafing like thing, and he's finishing up. Anti-chafing, you don't just do your neck. I'm in a dilemma now. I'm in a dilemma, all right? And I'm standing there staring at my car going, should I do this? My mind is racing, because they're down there getting this race started. You hear them on the loudspeaker, And so I walk up and I go, can I borrow that? And he goes, you want to borrow? I was like, yep. He goes, okay, you can keep it. And I was like, thank you. And so I put this on, and then I'm starting to hear the Star Spangled Banner, which means that thing is about to say go. So now I'm running back down to the beach to get in place. My heart rate is beating faster than I had planned. All right, I'm already a little anxious. All right, 70.3 doesn't seem that short to me. And so I get back to the beach in time, and I'm down there, and the guy, literally, I get down there, my heart, I'm trying to breathe, like, don't, you got to calm down. And he goes, all right, razor's ready kind of thing, and then they fire the gun. And so I take off into the water, and I had been training like crazy for 2.5 months to be a good swimmer now, right? And I jump in the water, and I start swimming. Do you remember I told you what the temperature was? What was the temperature again? It's in the 40s. And so I jump in the water, and you put your face down to swim. I've got on a wetsuit, and it felt fine when I walked out to my knees with a wetsuit on. And as soon as I put my face in the water, y'all know about this? It's like a gasp underwater, like that. And so that's not good to do underwater. And my stroke is very fast, because my adrenaline is pumping right now. And these other people are still pulling ahead of me, and that's okay, because it's my first one and everything. I get about 200 yards out, and I'm like, I'm going to drown. I'm about to die. I have on a dark wetsuit. They will not see me under the water. I don't care how many canoes are out here. They're supposed to save my life. And then I remember, because you can still think sometimes, even when you're losing it, that there was this person who told me a story. So when I did a triathlon, I freaked out in the water. And I learned the best thing to do is turn on your back and just take some breaths. I don't swim on my back and I don't float, but the wetsuit helps. And I just turn over on my back and I'm like, God, please don't let me die, right? And I breathe a few times and then I turn back over and it is brutal, all right? Rodman Lake, it's 2 times around for over 2,000 yards of swimming, but I made it. Thank you. Yes, I get out of the water and like I had set my place up so good, like clean my feet because I'm going to run through sand, then we're going to run on wet grass, then we're going to run on concrete, and that asphalt was naughty back in the day. Y'all remember that up there? Yeah, they've repaved it. It's very nice. That was not when they had repaved it. Come across that, I had a little towel to like wipe my feet off, where I stick on my bike shoes and bike 56 miles. I get my bike out and I'm running with my bike and hop on, start riding, and man, it feels good. Y'all ever had it when it just feels good? And so we wind our way through Callaway, poorly marked, by the way, poorly marked. Those arrows were just pointing at spots. We're like, what does that mean? Is there a road over there too? You know, make it out, and we're going to now ride down the road. How many of y'all know this kind of area? If you get off of 185, there's Hopewell Church Road. You go down one more, it's a West Point exit, and they come together right before you get to Callaway. And so we ride down there, and then we're going to ride this triangle, and we're going to do it twice, and that's going to put us in place for these 56 miles. And I remember being a little anxious because there's cars still on the road, and I'm riding. There's definitely some people that can ride faster than me, passing me, but I am feeling good. And I check my little bike computer, and I'm flying. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm working hard. Maybe it's just the adrenaline, but like I feel fine, And so I just keep going. I keep checking. I'm like, man, I'm killing it today. I'm killing it today. Horrible swim, but I'm going to make up for it on a great bike ride. And so I make it to the end, and I make that turn to go back down the road to connect with Hopewell Church Road. And as soon as I do, I'm like, y'all ever been there before? And the wind is blowing so hard on my side now because the whole time, if you ride with the wind, you don't really feel it, right? It's just easier. You just go faster, all right? It's called a tailwind, and it is amazing. The side wind, not so much. Now I'm like shaking, trying to keep, and y'all know cool people ride on aero bars. So your hands are like this, and you're shaking, and I make it down, and what do you think happens when you turn to go back? It's all in your face now. That's exactly right. And going down a hill is still slow. And I'm like pumping it down a hill to try to get to 20 miles an hour because the wind is blowing so hard in my face and I'm weak. All right? And so I am ticked and I have to do it twice. And by the time I have finished the second time, I am talking out loud to myself and to anybody who wants to hear. Y'all ever been there before? This is ridiculous. This wind is ridiculous. Why in the world is it going to blow this hard today? Don't you know it's April? We don't need wind in April. Y'all ever been here before? So I'm in a bad mood. I get back into Callaway, park this bike, get off. Awesome transition this time, very quickly into my running shoes, and I start running. Man, it's like freedom, Freedom is a highway when you're running. And I am just like, oh my gosh, I feel amazing. It feels weird at first. Your legs are all, woo, after the bike. But they start getting stronger again, and I'm running, and I see this dude that I had seen when I was doing the swim training stuff, and he's running by the other way. I'm like, what's up, Johnny? He's like, shut your mouth and run straight. I'm like, yes, sir, right? I am pumped for the first 6 miles. And it's 2 loops. I remember starting the second loop and be like, man, I'm getting tired. And I'm only halfway through. But I'm not taking a break because the pros don't take breaks. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a pro yet. I'm feeling good, right? And I keep pushing on. And how many of you have ever got to that point where, like, you just can't do it anymore? And like, it doesn't matter if you want to stop or don't want to stop, you're about to stop. And I remember getting to that point where at first I was like, well, they're aid stations because they have them every mile or so. I'm going to walk through the aid station so I don't choke on my water, right? And I'm going to just walk through that. And then, like, getting going again, I'm like, oh, my gosh. I didn't know how many calories you should intake, so I'm definitely out of fuel. And I remember getting to the point where it was like, I don't want to stop, but I just stopped. And I'm walking now. And that's a miserable place to be in life, And it's like you think you've got it planned out. You think you've prepared. You look back on it, you go, I'm an idiot. I do that now. But, like, at the time, I was like, man, I've got this. I've got this. I've got this. And yet, for whatever reason, I came to this place. Right? This is where I was looking good, by the way. Look at that. That's a good-looking guy right there running away. I'm so fast he couldn't even catch me, in the face. This was me even further down the road. I know, killing it, at that point. But pretty soon I'm not running anymore. This is life, and this is how it goes. At times we think we're prepared, we think we're ready, and we're taking on the journey, the climb, the hike, whatever it is. And yet we start to wear down, and we start to get tired, and we say, that's all right, I'm going to press on, I can do this, I can make it, and we keep pressing on, and we keep working at it, and we keep trying, and yet we are absolutely worn out, and we just need a break. It's like Kit Kat commercial all over again. Give me a break, right? You know what I'm talking about? And it's like nothing you can do about it. And I want to take a look at this idea because it's not because you don't want to. It's not because you're weak. Because I found out later on, by the way, you know what I know about triathletes now? They don't run so hard up the hill during long races. They actually will slow down a little bit, shorten their steps, maybe take a little bit faster, but they're not going to try to keep the same pace running up the hill. They're just going to slow down. Why? Because if they don't, lactic acid starts pouring out, apparently. Where are my folks here? Y'all know this better than I do. Starts pouring out. You start burning. You start maxing out. Once you max out, you're done. There ain't no coming back around. You know what I'm saying? You maxed out. Your heart rate is flying, and they know to control it and take it easy. In fact, they even walk through aid stations at times to make sure they get all the fuel they need to be able to keep running. You learn these things in life, and yet in the moment you think, I can make it. I can press on. I can do it. And yet at times, there really is a need just for a break. And that's what I want to take a look at today. When it comes to mountains, when it comes to life, there's a time where you might just need a break. To catch you up on our story about Jesus. It's only 3 weeks in for us, but they're in the middle of the gospel now in Mark 14 today. So if you want to flip it, Mark 14 is where we're going to be. All right, Matthew 14. And so here Jesus is with his friends. They've been doing some traveling. Some bad news has just come to them. Y'all know this guy named John that baptized Jesus 2 weeks ago. Remember that story? John got arrested shortly after that. He was right there with King Herod, and he was in jail. Herod throws this party. He invites the people over. Herodias' daughter comes and does an amazing dance for him. I have no idea what that is, but she's still pretty young. She's like one of our youth showing up to do her, ballet performance. Herod's amazed by it. He says, hey, it's an amazing dance. What do you want? I will give you anything. And her mom says, come here real quick. And she says, ask for John's head on a platter. How many of y'all out there, you'd ask for the same thing and tell your kids, right? And so she goes back up to Herod. She says, I want John's head on a platter. And Herod don't want to do this, but he has said he'll do whatever, and he doesn't want to be somebody who doesn't keep his word. And so he has John the Baptist beheaded, his head brought in on a platter. And where we pick up the story today, Jesus has just gotten news of that. When Jesus heard what had happened, he withdrew by boat, this is verse 13, privately to a solitary place. Hearing of this, what happens? He's going to a solitary place. I've got to get away. I need quiet. This is a tough day. He's been busy. He's now lost a very good friend who is also part of this movement. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him. Isn't this great news? Right? Anybody been tired before? You're exhausted and more stuff shows up again. You've scheduled a time for a day off, and yet they call you from work and say, sorry, but we really need you. And then you don't get another day off because now you're back at work again, right? Followed him on foot from the towns. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he said, heck no, I'm out of here. Where's the boat, right? That's what all of us are thinking in our heads, probably, if we're exhausted, having a tough time. He had compassion on them, it says, and he healed the sick. And he looks at the crowd. He knows he's having a tough day. He knows life is not going the way he had hoped for at this point with losing a friend. He's exhausted. He needs rest because he is fully God, but he is also fully human. And he had compassion on them, and he healed the sick. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, this is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves food, because there's so many of them out there. Y'all heard this story before? It's a really good story. It's a really good story. And Jesus replied, they do not need to go away. You give them something to eat. And they're like, yes, sir, absolutely. We'll give them something to eat, right? No. They're like, that's not how it works, Jesus. What are you talking about, man? You see how many of them there are? And so the response is great. It's like, we have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. They answered. That's all we got. You think that's going to feed all these people? That's not even feeding all of us in here, is it? And Jesus said, bring him here. And so as they bring him to Jesus, they did as he directed, the people to sit down on the grass, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and he broke the loaves. Is there going to be enough food? Yes. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people, and they all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up how many? How many disciples are there? Nailed it. Of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate were about 5,000 men besides the women and children. And see, this is a great sermon. We all get tired. We all get worn out. You're not the only one. We've all been there. You didn't plan for it to go that way. Things have come your way in life. You think, if I could just get away, if I could just get a little downtime, a little rest, it'd be better. But there's always something else going on. That's okay. Look how Jesus handles it. Jesus does pretty well, doesn't he? He's exhausted. He's sad. His heart's broken. He needs a break. And the people come up, thousands of them. And he starts healing people. And then when he could do just like his disciples said, when you could just say, okay, y'all, I'm done now. I need a break. He says, feed them. Knowing good and well they're going to say, we can't. And he's going to say, that's all right, I will. And he feeds 5,000 plus people. Because that's what you do when you're tired. You press on. You don't quit. You don't let fatigue be the victor. It's a great sermon too, isn't it? You like that? Thank you. Do you know what the very next thing that comes in this story is? Some of y'all do because you went to 10 a.m., right? You're like, Stephen, that's not how it goes. I've read this story before. Immediately, as soon as they've eaten and collected in the baskets, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side. Go on, get out of here, go, go, go. I got this. And then he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside. You get that? Yep. By himself to pray. That's what he does. He sees something that needs to be done. He takes care of it, but he doesn't say, well, I guess I won't get a break today. See, this is where we mess up, right? Well, I mean, I had to go into work, so, I've got kids. Well, yeah, and we just throw it in there. We all got our excuses of why we don't ever take a break, right? And Jesus sends him ahead, dismisses the crowd, and he goes up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. And shortly before dawn, so that means all night long, Jesus stays there. He goes and he prays and he spends the rest of the night there, even though there's stuff going on, which we just heard, the wind's blowing with the boat. He stays there and rests. And he went out to them walking on the lake, which is also a cool thing to do. Have y'all tried that one before? Tried that one? When he saw the disciples, or when the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus said to them, take courage, it's I, don't be afraid. This is another one. You can preach good sermons on this. I'm not going to preach on this too much. Just want it to be an example for us today. Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, tell me to come to you on the water. Prove it. Come, he said. And then Peter got down out of the boat and he walked on the water and came toward Jesus. That's pretty awesome too. Anybody else here walked on water? No, I know. We tried to fake it. We've tried it. We only made it 2 or 3 steps and we sink every single time. What's coming next? He's going to get scared. Very good. And what's going to happen when he gets scared? He's going to start sinking. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, Lord, save me. And Jesus said, guys, Sabbath. Tired, worn out, just got a little rest. Kick your feet. You'll be fine. Right? You ever done that before? When you ride your little bike, you're a little around our pool, we tell you, you fall in, you get yourself out. Right? So Brinkman household will just say, you know. I got kids who know it's real. Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and he caught him. You of little faith, he said, why did you doubt? And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, truly you are the Son of God. That's a big story, isn't it? And Jesus is exhausted, and yet the people show up, and he heals, and then he feeds them. And he takes a break, and right after his break, he's coming down. And Peter, who else, right? Causing problems again, and he saves Peter's life and gets him back in the boat. Everyone's amazed. And when they had crossed over, they landed at Gennesaret. And when the men of that place recognized Jesus, they sent word to who? All. Oh my gosh, the surrounding country. And people brought all their sick to him. This is like crazy, isn't it? And they begged him to just let the sick touch the edge of his cloak. and all who touched it were healed. That's just one day. You know what I'm saying? That's a evening and a next day. That's a busy life. Now, how many of you are like, well, that's pretty normal for me? You know, I typically feed 5,000 plus a day. You know, I do a good job of healing people. I am in the medical field. I don't know if you knew that, but, you know, bring all the sick in town. I'll take care of it. No worries. Walking on water, whatever it takes to get out to you. I do whatever I can for folks. I get to them. I don't leave them alone. You know, I'm always with them. I'll save them when they fall. It's a great story. How many of y'all are like, yeah, that's my life pretty much? How many of you are like, I was hoping it would be like I've really been working at it, spent a lot of time on it. Not quite there yet, but getting better, right? Because this is kind of like picturing perfect, isn't it? And yet we miss the part that in the middle of it all, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. That's the part we miss. Because we think we've got more to get done, and we need to get it done. In fact, I don't need to get it done. I got to get it done because it's my responsibility, because I took it on, because I said I would do it, and I got to get it done. This is how we live life all the time. And we just pencil it in. We got more. We got to get it done. And we got to get it done. It's good stuff that we're doing because we only do good stuff. I only do good stuff. How about you? And yet, I think we get in the story pretty quickly that stepping away is sometimes the most faithful thing you can do. I mean, Jesus could have just hopped on the boat with them. He could have slept on the boat like he does in another story. But he doesn't. He sends him ahead, and he goes up by himself. He takes a time of prayer. Getting away. As you begin to look at this and you think about it, I mean, if I was Jesus after all that's going on and these crazy group of guys, which we know they do not have it all together by this point in Matthew, you know what I'm talking about? They've messed up plenty of times by this point. I'm staying on the mountain, right? I'm just going to stay up there because it is peaceful up here and I'm getting some rest up here. And I don't know about any problems anymore up here because nobody else is up here to tell me about problems. This is good. Anybody tried that before? I would just get away and disappear and turn my phone off and I will not check my email and it's going to be better. And how many of y'all make it a whole day doing that? How many make it the whole night? How many of y'all are checking it first thing the next morning? Right? Because we have a sense of ourselves being very, very important. And yet Jesus on that day prays and he rests. And for him, he comes back down the mountain. And I think the deal is, our goal is not to escape and be able to just get away from the problems of the world, because as we talked about in the very first week of this series, this idea of getting away is not possible. It's just called life. But the mountain is not the destination. It's just the preparation. And once again, Jesus goes on the mountain after some very tough, busy times, and he prays. By the way, he does that a lot. Listen to the stories, read them. He takes time for prayer pretty regularly. And then he comes back down the mountain, knowing that there's more stuff waiting down there for him. Because the deal is, and this is the hard part for us, y'all remember, I mean, like, he's healed a bunch of people, he's fed a bunch of people, he's been doing all kinds of crazy stuff before that story we've read, and now he gets a time of rest, and yet as he comes back down, it's not like everything's fine now because he prayed about it. This is what we want. Well, I prayed about it. Yeah, good. Good. Did you expect everything to go the way you want them to go because you prayed about it? Obviously, that's not Jesus, because Jesus comes back down, and now he's got Peter out there doing more dumb stuff, right? I go, sure, Peter, you want to walk on water? Go for it. But do you think that Jesus didn't know he's going to sink? You know what I'm saying? Do you think Jesus was like, I bet he could do it? You know, Jesus is probably like, he's going to take a few steps and he's going to be down. I know Peter, you know? Because the deal is, when we pray, it doesn't remove the storm. We know that in this story. He comes right back down and the wind is blowing hard, but it does recenter the one who walks into it. I think Jesus is much better prepared at this point as he comes into the storm to handle Peter trying to do something crazy again. Because for us, when it comes to our faith, when it comes to what it means to follow Jesus, what it means to prepare our hearts for the big celebration on Easter, the invitation is not to abandon the work or to run from the problems, pretend they're not there. The invitation actually is to learn how to step away so we can return whole. And I look at Jesus, I'm like, man, Jesus probably didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? He could have been like, all right, I guess I'll just keep going. I'll just go take care of their problems because they're going to freak out about the wind, right? They're going to lose it when the waves start crashing on the boat. I'll just go, guys, it's fine. Do you want me to calm it down for you? Okay. But instead, we find this way that he steps away for a moment. And if Jesus steps away, why do we think that we don't? All that he's been through, news of John the Baptist's execution, feeds 5,000 plus people, right? the disciples are still dumb and they still don't get it. One of them starts sinking and he saves them. Then he goes and he starts healing more people in the next town. And in the middle of it all, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. So as we close it up here this morning, these are my questions for you to think about. If Jesus took a break, why do we feel we don't need to? In the midst of all that's going on, it wasn't like it just got calm and he was like, oh, finally a day off. He's like, I'm going up on the mountain. That's where I'm going. Y'all head on out. See y'all later. Hope you ate enough. If Jesus took a break, why don't we feel that we need to? Here's a second question for you. If Jesus frequently, it says, made time to be alone with God, why don't we ever have time or use the time we do for that? Jesus, fully human, fully God, yet takes this time. Do we think we have to work more than Jesus? And maybe that's the takeaway question for you today. It's mine. Do we feel we have to work more than Jesus? Do we feel that we got too much we got to get done? Even though Jesus took breaks, I just don't have time. Even though Jesus did some pretty crazy stuff. I mean, I haven't fed 5,000 people in quite a while, you know. I hadn't healed a bunch of people. I hadn't walked on water at all, unfortunately. Tried it. Yet he takes a break. So do we think we have more work to do than Jesus? The invitation that we have is not to abandon the work or run from the problem, but to learn how to step away so we can return whole. Where do you need that break, and when are you going to take it? What are you pushing on just because you feel like you got to keep pushing on? What are those areas that you think without you, oh, it can't happen? And what are those times that you need to start looking around maybe and saying no? And taking a break, because you'll come on that time on the hike, as you journey on the mountain, you will be exhausted and you will need to rest. Let's pray. God, it may be at different places for us as we go through life, of where we just need a break. God, where we are just absolutely exhausted. God, it may be at a time when we've been trying to take a break and it seems everything's keeping us from it. It may be at a time when we feel we have so much more we're responsible for and have to do. God, it may be at a time we're trying to prove ourselves. God, it may be at a time where a lot has been just put on us. And we're pushing on. And we're going to work through because we have the strength and the endurance. And God, we just ask you to help us get through it and get it all done. And yet, God, maybe our prayer needs to change. So this morning, at least for a moment, we just say, God, help me understand that you got it all in your hands. And I just need to leave a little work for you to do. It's in your name we pray. Amen. I invite you to your feet as we close with worship.
I know someone
grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of the Father, and communion with the Holy Spirit be with you all.